6:14 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We've had a lot of time to talk in pre-market. However, we will give the MMT a remember is that the left elbow gap down on the price lines, the ISRGs, the European news, everything alike. And once again, where is that bull going to be when you finally got into this correction? Not only that, 4/23/2012 is today's date. Let's make that clear. We also clearly stated that the first trading day of April, that price volatility would come into this market again, that one-sided bull where all the short interest was wound off the tape in the first calendar 3 months, that's January, February, to the end of March. Then you got to the first day of April. Yeah, and I said that's what it's going to be. Not only am I saying that, I'm saying that it's going to increase. And I'm also going to say that the price volatility is the MMT's most gracious gift. Why is it a gracious gift? Because they get to buy off of that support level on the left elbow gap downs, and MMT's SMF is famous for the left elbow. And if the bull wants to hit that buy side line, you'd be looking at the price lines, you'd be looking at the ISRGs and the BIDUs of the world, BIDU, which is going to be having earnings coming up, and of course the Apple, which was down at 567 in pre-market, because it was. And once again, we're about to open. The headlines in the media are running at full steam. And here's the gap open up list. The features on the NASDAQ is RDEA buyout. Amlin is hiring Goldman Sachs and Credit Suisse, just like Human Genome is doing on that one. So you don't have much outside of that big biotech news working. So that's the gap open down list. And remember, the oversold and overbought. We're not oversold, but we were extremely overbought. So as far as I'm concerned, the Europe news at the end of December of calendar 2011 was what it is, but then it's the same news that drove the market higher. And when markets get too overbought, there's a good reason to work that overbought process off, MMTs, as discussed in the prior 45 minutes of pre-market. Now, for the public, if you happen to come across this, you can get pre-market updates at $995 on a monthly subscription service to hear me talk about what direction you should be taking at the opening bell. So that is open to the public, and it'll be on the new stockmarketfunding.com website. One trade with whatever you're doing would pay for it. So let's just keep it in that reality. And let us not forget that the left elbow gap downs are going to hit that lower support level, and you're going to want to be looking at where the call side of the market and the put side of the market is in what we call a rebalancing transformation, dollar price rebalancing. It is going through a transformation, because the first 90 days the calls went straight up and the puts were all at the bottom, and now the call side is working itself off, meaning that they're coming down from the inflated areas. So all eyes on those stocks. I will do the pre-market for the MMT. On that opening bell, I will just tell everyone right now that let that opening bell set up to see where that turn, if it comes right in on the left elbow gap down on that buy side bar, half bar above the half previous bar, then lock and load, scale into it, add into your position as it proves itself, but to confirm it, it must break 3 teenies higher right away. So in the SMF trading platform, market maker platform, that's how these left elbows will be used and established on the buy side of that left elbow, or where it comes down and hits that support level on these high beta stocks. Okay? And the pre-market for NASDAQ, I've got to end it. Price volatility is here. Apple reports earnings tomorrow. I'm 11 pennies to the opening bell, which is 11 minutes. Ding, ding, ding. And that's the time to get busy. But remember, all the European news, FOMC this week, Apple earnings, they've been selling down. Remember, the bellwethers like the Googles and the Apples and the people who make money in this economy are always a forward-looking indicator as to where public sentiment is. And is bull and bear, what is that all about? MMTs are going to be taught that a bear can get trapped in at the lower end of the market, and you would look at taking that long position as we go through that phase. We're simply in the early phases of an exhausted bull, to where the bear will use the media, come in, they'll play their hand as well, but I've always been a believer that the bull stays too long, the bear stays too long, and the SMF MMT is acting right on time.